Obviously, just for a quick update on LCC, I've now installed 5 nodes on the layout. Obviously, I've come away now, so I'm away for 6 weeks. But it's positive with the inputs for the spot detectors are working because of the way I'm using it. So that's a good improvement. I have started looking at making a mimic panel for the whole layout, and at the moment I've started playing with a Arduino Mega, which is going to give me 47 GPIOs, so inputs and outputs. But in my case, it still isn't going to be enough. So I like the MCP 23017s. I've used them in the past. We've now got an example of using those. I haven't actually been able to test it yet. To be honest, David only finished writing the descriptor files last night before he went to bed. So that's coming along. We're going to have the potential of 4 of those, which gives us 64 GPIOs, which can be obviously flashing LEDs or inputs of various types. So that's coming along. The next thing we're going to be looking at is stepper motors, controlling stepper motors with it, because I use a lot of little animations which use stepper motors. So it'd be nice to be able to set the positions up the same way as Steve is doing it. Obviously, for me, I've already committed to going down this, being a bigger layout than trying to do it with the RS485. I've already committed to going down this route. But that's where we are with the LCC. Whether I'll have anything to show when I come back, so I won't be back until May the 4th, 5th. So I should be there for that second open face-to-face. But I'm not going to promise having much more on the demo planks, because at the moment the CAN USB 4 is over here with me. I decided to bring a load of stuff over with me so I can do some more experimenting over there here. So that's where we are with that at the moment.
Were you going to move on to ESP32s, John? I thought that was the next move.
Yes, we are going to be using the ESP32s. As I've sort of said in my videos, I'm convinced the Nano will do most of what I want. Obviously, there was concerns over the speed, but I need to prove what I can do and what I can't do. Now, the SP32, I've got one here with me.
So how does it compare with
I'm going to try that, but the only way I can do it here is put it onto an MCP 2515. I've actually got with me, I forgot that, I brought an Atom, which is an ESP32, and that's got a CAN transceiver with it, so I can use that as well. But at the moment, I've got to get showing a lot more of what we can do with it. So there's a lot of people now are starting to look at the GitHub repositories and the videos. I jumped too soon into showing the level crossing with it, which I should have concentrated on getting more done on the layout with it. So
how does the ESP32 that you just showed us then compare with the Mega?
The Mega has got a lot more pins.
Okay.
The Mega's got good memory. The only thing it hasn't got, it's not, I don't know if it's as fast as it isn't as fast as the SP32. All right, that's got the built-in CAN controller, but we have to use a transceiver to connect to but with that one, I don't have to use CAN bus. I can use Wi-Fi. So in the home layout, that's a possibility, but I'm not going to be showing that for a long time because I'm going to I'm the only one demonstrating at the moment what we can do with it. And obviously,
John, can I just butt in there a sec?
yeah,
The 23017s, there's been a heck of a lot of upgrades to the library. And on the sketch that I found somewhere, it wouldn't work with the latest version. Now, I always thought stuff was supposed to be backwards compatible, but it's obviously not. And believe it or not, I had to go back to version 1.03 before I could get it to work.
yeah.
So, if you're pinching any off the shelf software rather than writing your own, you might find. I know you're good at programming, John, but
No,
it's.
I'm not that good, to be honest. David Harris is the main man behind it, and that's why certain things I let him do, because even though I can do, I was convinced I could have done it, but I don't know what might affect other things, because
Yeah.
we want to make sure these will work with the commercial stuff. If people want to spend the money, then it will do it.
Mhm.
Now, uh, there's still a possibility at some point we may look at taking one of the cameos and having a different chip put in that and making one of the kits work with it. But I'm not in any rush to see that happening, because if you're going to build kits, you may as well go with the C-bus way and go down that and follow their examples. But for me, it's like what Steve's doing with the way he's doing it, but the way we're doing it with LCC and with the help of David, and there's a few more people who are getting involved, we're able to do what we want and change it. I'm not tied to what other people are saying we need to do. So
I was just going to say that the business about the MCP 23017 was this. I've got a vague recollection, and I don't know whether it was for the MCP 23017 or for something else, that when they brought out a new version of the chip or something, it went from something like 18 outputs to something like 16 outputs, but I might be thinking of something completely different, and I can't remember what it is. And it's a real gotcha.
This is to do with the syntax in the library,
Right.
rather than anything else. They've jiggled with whether it conflicts with somebody else's library or something. I've no idea. But as I say, I just happened to notice that that where this thing was being run, it was using 1.03. And as soon as I changed the version number to 1.03, it worked.
I know. I'm sorry. I know what it is. I know what there was a pick that wasn't there. There was one particular pick, and it had a certain number of input outputs. And then when they brought it out, was it after COVID when they started the production lines again and they changed the chip, and they kept the same chip number. But it depends whether you get a pre-COVID one or a post-COVID one as to whether or not two of the pins can be used in the way they used to be used or something like that. I remember reading about it and everybody was up in arms going, how the hell can you produce the same numbered chip and it does something different?
I think, wasn't their justification is we never said what those pins could do, but we told you what they could do in a later version. I think people had worked out what those pins could do on the early versions.
Yeah,
and there was something. It wasn't a formal thing from.
It's from microchip.
The microchip, but people had worked out they could do it, and when microchip went back to their standard, people's things stopped working. I think there was something like that.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah, I was trying to remember whether it was this.
So people were using a chip that it wasn't designed to operate like that, but it just did operate like that. But
we'll see how we get on, because I've got some coming anyway, but they won't get here for 4 or 5 days. So that's something I want to play with. We may end up having to go to the modules that Steve showed today. It was just a case of I know I've got a number of these at home already. That saves me a bit of money in the UK.
Are you just buying the chips, John? Or are you buying ready-made modules with them on?
Ready-made module. Everything I'm doing, David, is, as you're aware, is to make it modular.
Yep.
So the only kit anybody will have to solder will be the CAN USB 4. And after that,
I thought your trips out there were to get stuff delivered from China and then bring a suitcase full of it back.
well, I can do that, but I have to then pay hand luggage. Hand luggage. Because
you get it sent over.
I just bought carry on, and you've got to put it through. Luckily, the new scanners in Manchester, you don't have to take all your electronics out.
Oh, right.
So that was quite good. I didn't get any embarrassing questions. What's this? What's that? I had all the documentation printed out just in case.
Yeah.
But no, some things we can get cheaper here, but some things there's not a bigger market. The AliExpress doesn't seem as good over there.
All right. I tell you what, John, I'm pissed off with the postal service in the UK at the moment because they can't even deliver a package from the hub, you know, where the AliExpress stuff comes in.
Yeah.
They can't even deliver it from there to my house. It's taken them more time than it's taken it to get all the way from China.
Yeah, likewise.
To the hub.
Solar cells coming.
And I think they're deliberately slowing down, you know, the Chinese import stuff. Maybe Jeff Bezos or whatever his name is that runs
Amazon.
eBay.